Shalom, shalom, friends. It's good to be here again, and we've had a few weeks where we were away because of the holidays, but here we are, back again. And I wanted to talk about something that kind of puzzles me sometimes. I mean, I get a lot of questions every day, a lot of questions, and people are always asking me things about Judaism. And one question that I rarely get, maybe I've had it a few times in 30 years, is what do we do when we come to a passage in our tradition that we don't agree with? Or something in our tradition that is unsettling for us, such as a text. Do we just ignore it? How do we handle it? I've been thinking about this, and I think the reason I don't get this question very much is because a lot of folks probably figure that if it's Jewish and it's in the Torah, or it's in the prayer book, or it's in the Talmud, since I'm a rabbi, I must agree with it. I agree with all of it, and that's just the way it is, because otherwise how could I be a rabbi? But that's not really the case, friends. The truth of the matter is there's plenty of material in our tradition that I disagree with, just like some of you disagree with material in our tradition. But that doesn't mean, for me, that I throw everything out. That would be like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Instead, I identify and know the things that I don't agree with and work very hard to either reinterpret them, re-understand them in another way, or perhaps understand that they are part of the historical development of our people and represent another time in another place. Look, it's the same thing as all of us have friends and neighbors, maybe relatives for sure, that we don't agree with. And one strategy, I suppose, might be to just avoid anybody who we don't agree with. For most of us, we are able to still be friends with people with whom we have differing opinions on. We just decide we're not going to either talk about those topics, or we're going to appreciate other parts of that person for what they are and not for something that some position or some idea that they have, and just accept them as they are. Well, let me give you some examples from Jewish tradition. Now, there are lots and lots of examples, friends. But two things came to my mind. One is from the opening Psalms of every service. For we have a reading that comes every Shabbat, and it's from the morning service. And in this sort of, it's actually an anthology of verses, and it talks about God of retribution. God, reveal yourself, judge all the earth, and pass sentences on all those who are haughty and deliver us forever. Well, to me, that's a very harsh statement. Thinking about God as a God of retribution is not how I choose to think about God. But what I do know is this. For some folks who feel powerless and who feel that the world is against them, they need these words. They need to feel that there is someone in their court, someone who is going to defend them and be in the world for them. For me, I don't like these words. I don't want to say these words, but I recognize that for others, they're valuable. Let me give another one. It's kind of similar in a way, but it's in every service. Nearly every service ends with the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach. Every service ends with that prayer. We all know we stand up, we bow at a certain time. But the prayer itself, which is not one of the oldest prayers in our tradition, but the prayer itself has some fairly controversial lines in it. For example, it says, all who live on earth will understand and know you alone. And then every knee must bend, all allegiance shall be sworn. They will bow down and prostrate themselves before you, God, and they will accept your sovereignty. The language in Hebrew is even a little more harsh than what I just read. And again, I'm not comfortable with this language. I'm not comfortable with the idea that we believe that everybody must believe just like we are, or everybody must be Jewish or Jew or believe in the same God in the same way that we do. That's just not who I am. And it's not just the way, and it's not the way I'm built, and it's not the Judaism I've come to love and be a part of. So for me, when I come to the Aleinu, I understand that what we are hearing here is an imagination of a world of unity. And that I can buy. It's an imagination of a world that is so united that everyone is able to stand with everyone else, and all together they're able to praise. The language of the writer of this prayer is very particularistic with regards to Judaism, and perhaps even wanted to convey that something of a sense of some kind of ultimate superiority in our Jewish tradition. But that's not how I understand it. What I understand is that we dream of a day when everybody can all praise whatever at the same time. A time of peace, a time when brother will be with brother, sister with sister. And for me, that's how I understand the prayer. Probably not the original intent of the writer, but it's my intention. It's the way I understand the prayer. And I think that that's exactly what we must do. When we come across a passage or a teaching or a Torah verse that is contrary to what we believe, we need to think it through. Find a way to deal with it. Find a way to struggle with it. Ultimately, that's why we are Yisrael, the people who struggle with God. We're going to conclude now, as we always do, with the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Ravam, b'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'akalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Ravam v'varach l'olam l'yomei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu. V'yelam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata damiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu yaseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Thank you, friends, and I'll see you next week.